Hi everybody, thank you for joining us and spending a little bit of time with us here today. We are in the project room, obviously, all the mess, and what we want to talk about today are a few things that you can do to help your pets if they're suffering from skin irritation or small wounds and cuts. What made me think about it was, he's up on a shelf, my special needs kitty. If you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you've heard of him before. His name's Randy, and one of the problems he has, and has always had, as long as he's been with me, is that he has old scars on his body. And he'll leave them alone for a while, and then he'll open them up. He'll scratch them until he has huge patches of skin open on a superficial level, but open nonetheless, all over his body. And then we treat it, we get it healed. He lets it go for a while and then he does it again. So I do have quite a bit of experience in dealing with wounds on pets. So we're going to talk about your cats and your dogs and a few things you can do. The first thing I want to talk about is this, okay? I call this the blue stuff, the blue medicine, but it's actually called, and I wrote it down so that I could tell you, Zetericyn, and that's probably not the best pronunciation of it. It's Vetericyn, and it's Zetericyn Plus. It's to be used for cats and dogs for skin irritation, hot spot, small cuts and wounds. It's an antimicrobial, and this particular product, you can get it a lot of places that sell in department stores or in farm supply stores where they have medicines that they sell for cats and dogs and things. It's also safe for rabbits and some other animals, but it is sold in these places. You can also buy it through Amazon, and it's not all that expensive, and it is recommended by veterinarians. In fact, my first experience with it was with my parents' cat. Which one was it? Mo. Their cat Mo. He had a little scratch on his neck, and it would itch and things like that, and they were afraid it would get infected. And so they called their veterinarian, who recommended this product. Now, my experience with it on these big patches on Randy is that it does work really well, and for a short while, he won't bother those wounds then. But it is a short while. He goes back at it pretty quickly, but it does work well, and again, it's an antimicrobial, antibacterial. So it's good for those things, and it would be good to prevent infection probably. I would always say just better safe than sorry. If your animal has an infected wound, I would always personally want to take them to see the veterinarian so the vet can treat the wound properly and let you know too if, say, a pill form or liquid form antibiotic is needed, okay? Another product, well, before we go on to that, let's talk about aloe vera. Aloe vera is safe for both cats and dogs. It's good for small wounds and skin irritations, just like the blue stuff is. And by the way, the medicine's clear. I just call it the blue stuff because of the bottle. I don't know if I mentioned that. I might have mentioned that already. But aloe vera is good for your pets like it's good for you. I always say that if you don't know for sure in regard to the species of animal you're talking about, look it up, make sure that whatever you're using is safe for that animal, because if something's safe for one species, doesn't mean it's safe for another. But the products we're talking about today are safe for both cats and dogs. And so the second thing you can use for wound treatment things is aloe vera. This is an aloe vera gel, 7 minerals aloe vera gel is what it says on the package. I ordered this from Amazon. It's 100% pure and certified organic, and it didn't cost much. If you're paying a lot for aloe vera gel, You shouldn't, because you can buy it and it doesn't cost much. You can buy it a lot of times in the pharmaceutical or makeup section for humans. You can probably also find it some places for pets, but I know that you can find it in places for humans, and you can order it online. You can order it through Amazon, which is what I did with this one, and it's good for those wounds as well. You just need to be aware that when it comes out of the bottle, it's a gel and it's gooey, slimy. It'll probably also feel a little cold to the touch when you pour it out of the bottle. And I know for my cats, if they feel that coldness touch their skin, it kind of freaks them out. They don't like it. They won't be cooperative. What I do, if I'm putting aloe vera gel on Randy or any of my pets, is I pet them and I coo at them and pay a lot of attention to them. And while they're being petted, I put a little gel on my palm or my fingertips so that I'm going to be able to apply it to them from then. Keep in mind, like I said, it's slimy. It might, if you're not careful, drip between your fingers and things. But I leave it in my hand for a few seconds so that it warms up a bit. And as I'm petting the animal and getting them all loved up and happy, I will, in a petting motion, apply it to the affected area. And I've never had them even notice that I'm doing it, not bothered by it. After I apply it, they might feel that wetness on there and then lick it. And I've never had that be a problem actually with this stuff, because it seems that they lick off the gel, but you've petted it in and kind of rubbed it into the skin, and some of it remains, and they don't get their skin as roughed up as they would with, say, a liquid medication. And with Randy, at least, he leaves the area alone for a longer period with the aloe vera than he does with the other. Again, totally safe. And I've never had a wound become infected while I'm using aloe vera. I've heard that it has some mild antibacterial properties. I've not read that in, say, scientific journals or anything like that. It's just something I've heard. I can't guarantee that that's even true, but I know from personal experience, I haven't had a problem with infection developing while I'm using it. And if you have aloe vera plants and you want to use, say, leaves from your plants to do the treatment, it's very easy. I have a leaf here, I'll show you. Now this leaf was already damaged, so I didn't take a healthy leaf off my plant. I took this one, I think they're called leaves. I took this one off of an aloe vera plant. It had a little bit of damage to it right here, and so I just broke it off where the damage was. And what I do when I'm using this is I keep in mind that if I set this on a countertop or a plate so I don't get slime on my countertop or what have you, just set it in a cupboard, it does stay good. It stays viable for several days. So I don't use the whole thing. I just use part. And what I do, I'll show you, is I take a knife or a pair of scissors and I cut off a piece of it that's long enough for me to use to treat the affected area. And you can then, say, get to the slimy gooey part, which is the part that you need, and put that onto a cotton swab or a cloth, whatever you want, in order to apply it. Just put it on your fingers. I actually use the outside, the hard part of the outside of the leaf, as kind of an applicator. And what I do is, you've got these sharp, I don't know how well you can see that, but those kind of sharp, they don't hurt you, but they're pointy, and on a wound or whatever, it would hurt. So I remove those sharp parts from, and I'm making this a lot harder than it has to be. One swipe usually cuts it off, or a pair of sharp scissors, and I cut those off both sides. Now remember, the inside's gooey, and especially if you have a larger leaf, it's probably going to glop all over you. But I've cut those sharp edges off of both sides because I don't want them to harm the animal. And then what I do is I cut down through the middle of the leaf, giving me two halves. And so I've got it cut down through the middle, sorry for my shaky hands, exposing the gooey, slimy stuff. And then I hold on to it with my fingernails, because if you try to hold it with your fingers, it'll quite often just slip through them. These really are slimy. So I hold them with my fingernails so that I have a good grasp through that outer part of the leaf, and I just use it as an applicator to apply it to the affected area, the cut, the itchy spot, hot spot, what have you. And I can even go like this, lightly and gently, and it's not rough. It won't hurt the animal. Whereas, say, the medicine, the topical medicine here, it kind of stings sometimes when you apply it to them. And another thing I should have mentioned about this is that when I apply it, I spray it first onto a cotton ball, because the cotton ball is nice and soft. You know, I open it or I spray it, saturating the cotton ball, and then go to the cat or the dog and apply it. And the reason I do that is that spray sound. If you're spraying it directly, it comes in a spray bottle. If you spray it directly on their wound, that sound might alarm them. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to scare them, so I put it on a cotton ball first. Now the aloe I've put on, you rub it in, and it's good for you as well. I use it for burns, small cuts, itchy spots, and I burned myself today there. Ooh, fat arms. Burned myself there today. I'm going to apply aloe to that. It takes the sting out. And so I've rubbed that into the animal, into the skin. It kind of protects it a little bit. It takes some of the sting and itch out of the cut, dissuading them from wanting to scratch it as much. And it can soften some of the skin so that those scabs as they form aren't as itchy as well. Helps them to heal. And like I said, it's good for both cats and dogs. Really easy to use no matter how you want to do it. Now, I also have used different times the baby wipes. Huggies baby wipes, all naturals. They contain aloe as well, and they don't have any alcohol in them or anything like that in them. And I use that to kind of clean the area very gently again. You don't want to hurt your baby. Now, this is another product that I want to talk about really quickly too. And it's basically a natural calming agent, good for cats and dogs. This was recommended to me by my psychotherapist. She has a dog who suffers from separation anxiety, and said this medicine is called Zetericyn, Vetericyn. It can be bought, I don't know if you can find it easily where they sell pet products, but I know you can order it from Amazon. Again, this is where I got that. It's pricey. I think this cost me around $70 US, but it helps with separation anxiety on her dog. It's just kind of to calm them down a little bit. Not supposed to be harmful. Make sure you apply it give it to them as directed. Comes in a gel cap, and you just open the capsule, take out the powder, mix it in with, say, peanut butter for your dog, wet food for your dog or cat, and that's how the best way to get them to eat it. And it just calms them down so they're not as nervous. I'm going to try that on Randy, because I've noticed that when he does himself the most damage is when I'm away from him for a period of time, like while I'm sleeping at night, or if I have to be gone from the house during the day. So I'm going to try that. Haven't yet, but like I said, I have the testimonial evidence from my psychotherapist. She says it works really well with her dog. This has been recommended by veterinarians. This is sometimes recommended by veterinarians, and I have used both aloe vera gel and the blue stuff and have had success with both. So those are just a few. Oh, sorry. Back up, I correct myself. This is the Zetericyn. This is called Zylkene, Zylkene, Z, Z, Y, Z, or Z, Ylkene. So these are the products that I wanted to show you, and also the leafy aloe method. They all work really well, and you might want to just try different ones till you find the one that works best for your pet. I wouldn't advise, however, applying different topical agents at one time, like applying one and then applying another one on top of it while there's still, remnants of the first one there. And the reason is that on a molecular level, crikey, you can end up having a bit of a chemical interaction and cause a chemical burn. So don't do that. Another thing that works for hot spot, allergies, things like that is something that is actually sold for humans. That is hydrocortisone cream. Often recommended by veterinarians, healthy for cats, safe for cats and dogs, can be used on small cuts and can be used on, like I said, the hot spots, the allergies, itchy spots, dry skin. And it's the Benadryl cream. And you don't have to get the name brand. You can get just hydrocortisone cream that's a no-name brand, get it really cheaply, and it's usually found right with Benadryl cream. Use the same. My mother's one cat had a spot that started as a wound and then it just would never heal. And the veterinarian had recommended that for her, and we would use it on her. It would provide her a little bit of relief, and I've used it on other cats and dogs as well, and it does work really well. So there you have it. I hope that something there is helpful to you, and if you know of any other products or methods that work really well and you want to share it with us, go ahead and leave it in the comments, because I'm sure that we'd all like to see it and see if it's something we could try as well. So anyway, thanks again for stopping by. My light just died, so I knew it was going to. That's why I was hurrying and stuttering. But you have a good afternoon, and we'll see you again soon here at Home with Melissa. Thank you. Bye-bye.